Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for November of 2020. Your birthday is coming right up. It's going to be upon us by the time this month is over. And if you really want to get a jump on your upcoming year, there is no better way to do that than by getting a solar return birthday reading. And you can find a link for that in the YouTube description below. We've got news about Mercury and Mars finally going direct together this month. It's going to be awesome. And Julia has stuff to say about it. Hey, Julia, what do you have to say to the Scorpios of the world?
Ooh, well, hey, Scorpio. So I'll start with Mercury, the planet of communication, as well as the planet of thinking. And Mercury has been retrograde for the last few weeks in the sign of Libra, which has been all in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is a very sort of secluded house. It's also known by traditional astrologers as the house of self-undoing. But when Mercury goes retrograde in this house, it can mean that if you haven't been, that there may have been miscommunications where if you've mischaracterized something or maybe didn't give all the full information about something, could create a lot of loose ends in your thinking, which could have created a lot of big problems. The good news is that Mercury is going to go direct on November 3rd, so that's going to make things a lot clearer afterwards. Then Mercury is going to enter Scorpio, your sign, on November 10th. So that corresponds with your first house of self. So during this period, it's going to be a great time to clear up any of those miscommunications which have happened over the past few weeks, because now you'll be able to articulate yourself very, very clearly, which is great. It's a wonderful period also for any sort of writing or public speaking that you have to do. The next planet I want to talk about is Mars, the planet of activity and drive. And it's been retrograde in Aries for a number of weeks now, way over a month. And it's finally going to go direct this month on November 14th. But all of this activity has happened in your sixth house. This is the house of work, your work environment, including your coworkers, your clients, your customers. It's also the house of health too. So you're coming out of a frustrating time period, either at your workplace, running into flare-ups and frustrations with maybe coworkers blocking your project or just kind of getting very feisty with you. And since this is also the house of health, maybe you've been dealing with annoying chronic issues or problems with health insurance and other types of things, which are now finally beginning to clear up. The last planet I want to talk about is Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, because she begins this month in the sign of Libra, which is your 12th house. And she's going to be the first few weeks of the month in here. So the 12th house is also a very service-based house. It's a very sort of charitable house. So if you're in a relationship, you might be finding ways to be of service to your partner, to really kind of help them out. It's also a very secluded house. So this isn't the most social transit too. You may have found more sort of pleasure hanging out on your own than being around crowds of people, which none of us are really doing anyway, but you've been a little less social, and that's totally fine because you've been enjoying your you time. However, when Venus enters Scorpio on November 21st, that's your first house, the house of self. So that means that you're going to be embodying Venus energy. So it's a wonderful time to beautify yourself, get a haircut, get a tattoo, get a piercing, go out shopping, because you're going to be turning a lot more heads after that.
Ah, lovely. Also on that day, the sun moves into Sagittarius later in the day right here, and thus Sagittarius season begins. And the sun, wherever it goes, shines the spotlight and brings attention and conscious awareness to that area. And it's moving into your second house, which is the house of finances, the house of monies that are just yours. And so the sun is going to bring some awareness, some light, maybe some warm sunlight to that area during Sagittarius season. Now, a little bit earlier in the month, we have the first of this month's two moons, which is a new moon in Scorpio, and that being your sign, of course, this is your first house. We're calling this moon Consider Your Shared Estate because it involves Juno, which is about committed partnership, both personally and professionally. And Juno speaks to marriage, but also business partnerships. And here it is in the sign of Scorpio, nestled right in between the sun and moon. Well, the moon, when it conjuncts the sun, Juno will be close to it, not nestled in between. But in any case, this is going to bring up some of those themes of shared monies that are very Scorpio themes, also themes of facing one's own demise. And so it's really a great moon for, checking in about your will, to figure out like what is going to happen to all your stuff after you pass. And this falling in the first house, that's a house of identity. So this might feel actually rather personal and like it's, advice that's just for you. So then at the end of the month, on November 30th, we have the second of this month's moons, and that is a full moon in Gemini, which falls in your 8th house. Once again, that is the house that belongs to Scorpio. So it again brings up those themes of shared finances, shared estate, and so forth. Again, for you personally. But this moon, we've given it a different title, and it's really because it's the moon, which is emotional and intuitive, and that is in Gemini, which is intellectual and cerebral. And also there is a square with Ceres involved, and she grounds everything in the physical. So we're calling this moon Make the Mind, Body, Heart Connection. And since this moon crosses the axis of finance with the sun in your second house of your own money, and the moon in the 8th house of your partner's money or monies that you share, I think that it's going to be really important during the time period of the moon, which is the 3 days surrounding the moon, peaking on the day that the moon is actually happening, but also, rising to that peak the day of, and the denouement is the day after. During this moon, it's going to be about bringing together the heart, the intuition, how you feel, the mind, how you think, your rational side, and then grounding it in the physical when it comes to the finances that you share with your partner and balancing that with your own. One last thing I want to say is that Saturn and Jupiter are about to move into Aquarius. They've been in Capricorn all year with Pluto and some other things, and that has made this year feel pretty dark, pretty heavy, pretty burdensome, and even like entrapping at times. And we've made a lot of videos about that, which you can find on our YouTube channel. But this month, November of 2020, there is a playlist that we've made that includes videos about Jupiter moving into Aquarius and Saturn moving into Aquarius, and you should definitely check that out. If you enjoy our videos, our horoscopes, then please do like, share, and subscribe, because we'd love to see you around our little corner of the universe. And until next month, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.